Hello and welcome to this video, which is about the album Mike, which is an album I've just released. It's been made as a tribute to my dad, who died earlier this year. My dad was a big jazz fan. He also was a drummer. He taught me to play the drums, and he played a lot of jazz from when I was born. Really, there was always jazz in the house. Lots of different people: Dave Brubeck, Modern Jazz Quartet, Duke Ellington, all those sort of artists I grew up with listening to. And when he died, I thought I'd like to make an album as a tribute to him, and I knew it would have to be a jazz album. So this is what we have here, and I was just playing along to the first track on the album, which is a track called Afro Blue, which was written by Mongo Santa Maria, but the version I know is by John Coltrane and was on the album Live at Birdland. Before I get into talking about this song in particular, I'd like to talk a little bit about the background of making the album. When I set out to do it, I had a sort of set of rules that I had that were going to help me to make the album quickly. Basically, I didn't want to be making something like 6 months, and I wanted it to be fresh. I wanted to the feel was far more important to me than the technical aspects of making it perfect. Anyone knows me know I'm not a fan of perfection. I like rough edges in music. So the original idea was to make a jazz album of jazz standards with a power trio lineup, guitar, bass and drums. Recently I've been listening to the trio of Doom, which was a short-lived band in the late 70s with John McLaughlin, Jaco Pastorius and Tony Williams. And I thought that power trio lineup, the sort of Cream, Rush type power trio lineup, has not been used that much in jazz, especially with an aggressive bass playing the sort of Jack Bruce sounding bass sound. So I decided to make an album like that with me playing everything on it. The big challenge was to work out a way of recording it that would sound like three people playing at the same time. In other words, that there'd be interplay between the musicians. So I had to come up with a way of doing that. And I'll explain that in a little while. The other thing I wanted to do was it was to not use any effects or compression or gates. I didn't want to be polishing it. I wanted it to just be real and sound like a drum kit mic'd up, a guitar mic'd up, and a bass. It didn't work out quite like that, but there is no EQ on this album. Everything is just flat. There's no compressions, there's no gates. There's actually no mix. It's just the track is playing all at 0 dB. That's the way I did it. So if we start here, I'll explain how I created the sound of musicians playing together. The first thing I did was to put the bass line down, and you can see there's another bass line here. All right, which if I just play it, this is the first bass line I put down. So this was recorded completely in isolation to a click like that. So I'm imagining the tune in my head. I didn't have anything to work with. I had a chart at the real book that I was following, but I'm just playing it in my head. Once that was recorded, I dropped a guitar part down to the click and to the bass line. So at this stage it sounded a bit like this. So most of the time when I'm taking guitar solos, there was no drums there because I wanted the drummer to be able to react to the solo I played. Once I I did that, then I dropped the drums down. I'll just go through the drum part here. Here's the bass drum. If we just, I'll leave the click on so you can hear the way the drums are working. There's the bass drum, been recorded with a Shaw Beta 58 inside the bass drum, standard sort of sound. Here's a snare drum, add the snare drum to it. That's been recorded with an SM57, a standard miking pattern. Then I got the toms. I'm using 2 CAD microphones on the toms. There's only 2 toms on the kit. I'm just waiting for a tom to come along so I can hear a tom. There's the toms there. And then here's the overheads. I'll isolate the overheads so you can hear them without the rest of that stuff in. 2 overheads in a crossbeam pattern like that above the kits. So when we put all that together, we get this. Sorry. Just move. Now, the version that I know of Afro Blue features Elvin Jones on drums, and Elvin really is bending the time. This track is in 6, and it's a swung 6. So you can sort of suggest 9/8, you can suggest 12/8, you can suggest 4/4, 4/4 in a number of different ways. So the drums are bubbling around these different timings. And of course, that was recorded on top of the guitar, which allowed me to react to the guitar playing. So we just... follow this phrase all the way through, right? But I still had that bass line, the first bass line that I'd recorded, that was played to virtually nothing. So then I replaced it with this bass line here. This is the last thing to go on, was the bass line again, and the bass line could then react to the drums and the guitar. This means that you're not listening to 3 musicians reacting, but you've got a lot of reaction going on. You've got a guitar solo reacting to something which is not there anymore. You've got the drums reacting to the guitar solo, and you've got the bass reacting to the drums and the guitar solo. And so what you've left with is the guitar reacting to something, but the guitar is leading the way. It's creating the shape of the track. And this is how I faked the interplay that you would have normally got if 3 people playing at the same time. As I said, this is in 6. If you just put it up, or 3 to be more exact. You can hear the timing is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 2, 3. It's a swung 3, so it's veering towards 9. Badly, 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a fast 9, right? And that allows you to do certain polyrhythms with that. So there's a 3, there's a 2. It allows you to do all these sort of rhythms against that. Because of the 3 is ambiguous. The piece itself, once it gets to the solo section here, is basically in F minor. We're still playing the head on this tune is like a strange blues, but once we get to the solos here, this is all F minor. There's my F minor. I can just rip the guitar through. So the whole thing is just improvised in F minor. So I'm tending to work around the F minor pentatonic, which allows me to do, if I want, a lot of blues. That's my basic approach. But you can see the bass is winding around, it's going in and out of the harmony in much the same way Coltrane would have done. So I've got ways of expanding on that. The basic way to expand on it is to use let's switch the click off. Horrible. Is to use the Dorian mode, which in this case would be there's a Dorian mode there. The Dorian mode equates to like an E flat major scale. The third then I just sharpened into the Mixolydia mode. So one of the things about a power trio, because there's no chords going on, that bass, if it's playing the roots, it's ambiguous to what the key is. So I can move to the Mixolydia mode. And that phrase there is in Mixolydian and Dorian at the same time. I'm also every now and then veering towards the second mode, melodic minor. And I put a passing note in. I tend to do a lot of passing notes when I solo. So if I was playing a simple phrase like this, I tend to add passing notes like this. The outsideness is really coming from the idea that there's a dominant chord to this F, which would be like a C dominant. The bass had to go with it there with me. There's the dominant chord. Back to the tune, let's just zip it back. So a lot of the time my dominance is creating the outsideness. In. Out. And then back in. Out. But outsideness could be created just by going random. So in this way, in, outside, in, out, in, out. So when I'm improvising, I'm going in and out of the basic F minor, and the basses tend to do that. And because of the way the drums are reacting, the rhythm is driving that to happen at certain sort of crescendos. So I can follow the drums and follow the bass, and actually create this sort of outside tension in certain places. So as you could hear then when I was playing along, when I tend to go outside, the bass was tend to go outside as well. So this is how Afro Blue was created. I'm going to finish off. I'll take a bit more of a solo over it, I think. Thanks for watching. I'm going to try and get through every single track on this. So if you're interested in this stuff, please watch, and there'll be some more. And at some point, I've got to go through giant steps, which will be interesting because it's a killer. But thanks for listening. Watch this space, and if you like the album, please go and listen to it and buy it. I would love that for my dad. So thank you, and here we go.